849 9384 23. Okay. All right, so here we go. Each month, the current population survey interviews a random sample of individuals in about 55,000 U.S. households. One of their goals is to estimate the national unemployment rate. In December 2009, 10% of those interviewed were unemployed. Okay, so identify the population of interest. So that's who they're looking at. And that would be U.S. households. So the answer should be C. The parameter of interest is what they're looking for. They're looking for an estimate of the national unemployment rate. So they're looking for the unemployment rate of the individuals in the United States. The sample is who they actually talk, is what they actually do. They actually talk to individuals in 55,000 households. So it's a random sample of 55,000 households. Actually, it'd be C. C would be a better because it's individuals from the 55,000 households. All right. The statistic is what is their information they gathered. And they gathered that 10% of those interviewed were unemployed. It would be 10% that were unemployed. Okay, questions on those ones? Do you understand how it's the population of interest is the whole group, is everybody. What they're looking for is the parameter. The sample is what they do. Who do they talk to? And then the statistic is what did they find out? Okay. How much do gasoline prices vary in a large city? To find out, a reporter records the price per gallon of regular unleaded gas at a random sample of 10 gas stations in the city on the same day. The range of the prices in the sample is 25 cents. Identify the population of interest. Okay. How much do gasoline prices vary in a large city? Population of interest is gasoline prices in a large city. So they're not talking about the stations, it's the prices. So that would be range of prices here. Okay. The parameter of interest is what they want to find out. They want to find out the range of values. How much do they vary? The vary tells you they're looking for how far does it go from here to here. What identify the sample? What did they do? They went to a random sample of 10 gas stations in the city on the same day. SRS means simple random sample. So they did a simple random sample of 10 gas stations in the city. And what did they find out? The range of prices in the sample is 25 cents. The statistic would then be 25 cents. They're what they found out. Questions? Yes, Nolan. What's the difference between population of interest and interest? In this case, there's not much, but many times it's like if your population would be, let's say we want to find out something about Whitney High School. Your population of interest would be the students of Whitney High School, okay? let's say, let's come up with we want to find out if the students of Whitney High School believe that the price of a, what's the card that you can buy at the student store to get you in the games? The what? ASB card. That the price of the ASB card is too high. Okay? So population of interest would be the students of Whitney High School. The parameter is if it's going to be some form of a value. The parameter is going to be some form of a, is the cost of an ASB card too high? Your sample would be, you talk to 100 randomly selected students and you asked, maybe you asked them if they purchased, if they think the price is too high or too low. Okay. Or it would be better to have a more of a statistic, like, did you buy a ASB card? And your statistic would be 20% did not buy it. It'd be what you found out. Basically, the statistic is what you found out. Okay? All right. So here's the thing. Study finds a positive association between children with a large foot size and that should be and children who are better spellers. Is it true that foot size is affecting spelling ability? You can have an positive association. It just means that as the foot size got big, that's one type of variable. Another variable was good spellers. That went up. So as one went up, other went up. But does that mean a person with a big foot is going to be a good speller? No. There's no, remember, this is the cause and effect. Okay, there's no correlation between that. One doesn't mean the other one happens. Okay, is it true that you would probably, hopefully you said no. And that just because a person has a large foot, that does not affect whether they're being they're a better speller. Something like that is what you should have written. Does anybody want me to hear what they wrote? Don't be afraid to talk. This is stat. You've got to talk about it. Yes?
I said no, they don't relate to each other, I guess.
Yeah, that would be fine. I would take that for this, for you guys, yeah. They don't, it'd be better to say like having a larger foot size has nothing to do with the better speller, which would be the size of their brain, right? Okay. Joe wants to survey first graders to see if they know what social media is at their age. He asked for, which I bet many first graders still, they know now. A few years ago they didn't. He asked first grade teachers in 5 different Rockland schools if he can conduct a survey in their classroom. Would it be fair to say that this sample is a good representation of all first graders? Why or why not? Okay, sir, you were shaking your head no.
I said no because only first graders.
Mm-hmm. Because they're only sampling first graders in Rockland and not around the United States. So it would not be a good representation of all first graders. So since Rockland it's only first graders, you cannot extend. So I can spell extend right now. The results to the nation, okay? Would it be fair to say that this is a good sample of first graders in Rockland? Yeah. I mean, granted, they didn't go to every school, but you shouldn't have to. It's still, yes, you could apply this to. Now, if they'd only gone to one school, no. There's 11 elementary schools. Okay. Just think of it. What if they only went to Valley View? Is that representative of all the elementary? No. What if they only went to Rockland Elementary? No, but if they're going to hit 5 of them, they're going to get them in different parts of town. So they'll get a better sample. Okay. Okay. Histogram. You will have a histogram. Please remember that the numbers here that are on the bottom, if it can't be on the right side. So when we go to make our histogram, this would be from 1 to 2. So 1 to 1.9, 2 to 2.9, and so forth, okay? And this is people per household. Make sure you label. Okay. So this is out of 240. So this is 26 divided by 240. .11. You can round it to 2 decimals, guys. You don't have to. 63 divided by 240. 0.26. 21 divided by 240. 0.09. 87 divided by 240. 0.36. 34 divided by 240. 0.14. And 9 divided by 240. 0.04. All right. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So from 1 to 2, I'm going to go up a little bit above 1, over. I will put a grid on yours. It's easier when there's a grid, isn't there? So I'll put a grid on yours. So 26 is right about here. 9 is going to be just below that. 36. I need to go 7. 14 is kind of in the middle, and 4. Okay? So your histogram should look something like that one. Okay, so determine if each of the situations is a sample or a census. So if remember, sample means it's a portion of it's a smaller group of a whole. A census is all of them. So you're going to have to read the wording carefully to know which one it is. If it's a sample, discuss the sampling techniques. Remember, the choices of our sampling techniques are random, convenience, cluster. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a random sample. It's going to tell you somebody's picked randomly. It's going to tell you that they're picking like every third person. or every fifth person. There's going to be some way that you know that they're making different choices of how they're picking people. That's when you're going to get random. Cluster is a group of, with something in common, and you're going to talk to everybody in that group. And convenience is like walking into a room and talking to the people in the room. There's nothing, no reason why they were picked. They're just there. Okay, it's a basic idea. So Chief of Police calls in his 5 newest officers to get their opinion on the new requirements for department-wide promotions. Sample or census? It is a sample. If he talked to all of his officers, that would be different. The sampling technique is, well, one, it's not random. It didn't tell how he chose that he picked this person, and then that he made some form of system in picking. It's not convenience, because these guys all have something in common, don't they? What do they have in common? They're the 5 newest. So that is a cluster. The potential bias would be what? There could be more than one answer, guys.
I said because they picked the wrong group because like they're new, this is all they know. They should ask like older officers.
Okay, so would that be maybe undercoverage? Yeah. Or response? Well, the response bias wouldn't be response bias, because response bias is meaning they said something in their response. It's possibly undercoverage. Because you would want to include officers that have been around a while to talk about promotional, what the new promotion district department-wide promotions. Anybody give something else other than undercoverage? Like I said, there could be more than one. It's how you explain. You have to be able to back up what you say. Nobody? All right. A manager compares the annual sales for 12 store locations to rank their performance. That would be a census. Okay, it doesn't indicate that there's more than 12 at all. There's nothing to indicate that there's anything other than the 12. So this would be a census. And as such of a census, we don't have to worry about the bias. Shoppers are invited to fill out a questionnaire about their shopping experience at the cash register. The store manager uses the results in a report to corporate head to demonstrate the level of customer satisfaction at her store. Census or sample? If there's shoppers in the store, does that mean everybody's buying something? No, so it's going to be a sample. What kind of sample? Convenience. Okay, because now how's that going to talk about customer satisfaction? What kind of bias? There's a lot of bias in this one. Yeah, because some people could choose not to respond. What else? If they're buying something in the store, they must mean they like the store, right? Yeah. So there's response bias. There's non-response bias. You can have both. Okay. Could be under coverage as well. because they're not talking to everybody, the people who didn't buy from the store, to get a better idea and find out why they didn't buy from the store. There's a lot of things that this one can be. This is one of those where you just have to be able to back up what you tell me. Give me a reason why. All right, questions? Okay, last question. For each of those, does a census or a sample make more sense in the situation? Should an observational study or an experiment be carried out? And if it's an observational study is suitable, ask for an association between variables, discuss the possible lurking variables. Remember, those are variables that affect the outcome that is out of the control of the people doing the survey, the study. If it's an experiment, don't worry about, okay? We'll talk about experiment. Basically, you just would assign a random sample or you talk, okay? Is there a relationship between drinking green tea and longevity? If you had this question, would you want to do a census or a sample? Can you talk to everybody who drinks green tea? No. So census means you got to be able to talk to everybody. So this would be a sample. Would it be an observational study or would it be an experiment? What do you think? Remember, observational study, you're not doing anything, you're just watching. You're looking at things. You're paying attention to what's going on. This could be an experiment because you could have some people drink tea, green tea, and check how long they live, and others who don't drink green tea and see how they live, okay? What is the mean verbal SAT score in the state of Colorado for a given year? Sample or census? Could you get everybody's score in the state of California, in the state of Colorado? You could. It's actually readily available. So this would be a census. If it's a census, then it doesn't matter whether it's an observational study or an experiment because you're getting information from everybody. Would brighter classrooms, lighting increase exam scores? Sample or census? What do you think? Sample? Probably, yeah, sample. Because you could put some in some of the rooms and leave others alone. Experiment or observational study? An experiment, because you're applying a treatment of brighter lighting. Now, if we wanted to talk about experimental design real fast. So would it be good to check how it affects the test scores in a math classroom to a science classroom? No, you would want to probably keep math classrooms. Like today, integrated 1 is given an ESA. So you would want to test like different classrooms that have ESA on the same day, where one group is doing it in one light and the other would have it in another room at the same day. All right, that's it. Got about a minute. So tomorrow, guys, same idea. I'm going to give out a review sheet and then at the end of class, we're going to go over it. Okay?